Thank the distinguished gentleman from North Carolina for those observations and for your continued leadership here in the Congress. If I would ask the Speaker how much time is remaining on this special order.
The gentleman has about 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. One of the things that's been troubling to me and to many of the people that I represent back home in Brooklyn and parts of Queens has been to witness the attack on organized labor, on unions all across the country, particularly in 2011, 2012. We witnessed it in Wisconsin. We witnessed it in Ohio. It's taken place in other parts of the country. And I think it's unfortunate that there are some forces out here in the country determined to crush the ability of the American worker to organize and fight collectively for a decent way of life. And I think it's important to point out some of the reasons why all Americans should be thankful for unions and for the organized labor movement. I'm just going to highlight quickly 10. We should be thankful to organized labor because of overtime pay. We should be thankful because of child labor laws. We should be thankful because we now have the 40-hour work week. We should be thankful because of workers' compensation there to provide a safety net for folks who are injured on the job. We should be thankful because we now have the presence, as a result, in significant part to the organized labor movement, for unemployment insurance. We should, of course, be thankful because many Americans, as a result of the efforts of organized labor, enjoy pensions increasingly under assault, increasingly being taken away. But pensions have provided a vehicle for retirement security important to the American way of life and standard of living. We should be thankful to organized labor because for employer health care insurance coverage, something that many folks in this country still don't have, and it's one of the reasons why I strongly support the Affordable Care Act, an effort to correct that inequity that exists in America. But the fact that many employers do provide health insurance is an outgrowth resulted from, in large measure, the effort of organized labor. We should be thankful to organized labor because of the presence of whistleblower protection laws that give, in many instances, workers the capacity to identify something that's wrong and to be able to move forward and reveal it, often in some instances when public funds are being squandered or the law is being broken, to reveal a wrong without having to have the same level of fear that retaliation would take place as a result of simply doing the right thing. We should be thankful to organized labor because it fought for sexual harassment laws designed to allow the workforce to be an environment where men and women could exist without fear of inappropriate behavior poisoning the atmosphere. We still have a long way to go in that regard, but we've got some good laws on the books designed to protect against repulsive behavior in the workforce. Lastly, we should be thankful, and this in no way is an exhaustive list, just a representative sample, but we should be thankful for holiday pay. Thankful that organized labor fought for the opportunity for many Americans to be able to enjoy Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or other holidays with their families, still have an opportunity to be compensated as a result of the ability to get certain holidays, perhaps most significantly the 4th of July, where we celebrate the birthday of this great nation, off in remembrance of who we are and where we need to go in this country. We got a lot of reasons to be thankful to organized labor. Several of my colleagues earlier today referenced their own personal experiences as it relates to the labor movement, and as I was listening to those experiences from Representative Donald Payne and Representative Mark Vesey, I thought about the experience of myself and my own family. Growing up in Brooklyn to two parents in a working class neighborhood in Crown Heights. My parents were married in April of 1967. At the time they got married, they were both members of the Social Service Employees Union, SSEU. Subsequently became Local 371 of DC 37, but they were both SSEU members. They got married in April of 1967. And just a short while thereafter, the union decided to go out on strike because they were for improved conditions both for the workers and for the clients that the social service workers serve. My parents, newlyweds at the time, confronted what I imagine was an extremely difficult decision. Do we strike with our union brothers and sisters, even though we'll have no possible means of providing for ourselves and we don't know how long we'll be out of work? Or do we cross that picket line in defiance of the collective action of the SSEU workers who went out on strike? I'm proud that my parents joined with their union brothers and sisters and went out on strike. And as I look back at that decision, it's a lot of reason for me and for my brother and for our family to be thankful. Because when I think about it, 1973, my younger brother was born with some heart difficulty, and I'm confident looking back on it that it was that union negotiated health care that helped our family get through what was otherwise a very difficult time. And my brother's alive and well and doing wonderful things as a professor at Ohio State University right now. And then in 1980, my parents bought their first and only home in Crown Heights, the home that my brother and I grew up in, the home that they still live in back in Brooklyn right now. And it was that union negotiated salary that helped them put together the money to make the down payment and to pay the mortgage for these years. Then in 1988, it was time for me to go off to college. And one of the reasons why I was able to come out of college relatively debt-free is because my mother borrowed against her union negotiated pension in order to send her children to college. And so the organized labor movement never has to worry about whether I'm going to stand up for them, because they've always stood up for me and so many others, just like me, as we heard from my colleagues in the freshman class here in the Congress. And that's simply representative of stories that so many folks